Have you ever wondered how far the connection between the mundane and the supernatural can go? The case of a 17th-century Italian nun who allegedly wrote a letter dictated by the devil is one of those stories that challenges our understanding of reality. It sounds like something out of an esoteric or occult book, but believe it or not, this is a documented account that still baffles scholars today. The translation of this letter revealed secrets that shake beliefs and reignite debates about pacts, rituals, and entities beyond our grasp. Are we truly ready to face the unknown? There is a peculiar mystery that hovers over religious records, messages that seem to escape human control. Among these stories, the case of Sister Maria Crocifissa della Concezione stands out. In 1676, she claimed that a mysterious letter was dictated to her by the devil himself. The paper, covered with enigmatic symbols, appeared to hold something deeper than a simple illusion. Who hasn't heard stories of weeping statues or visions that send chills down even the most skeptical spines? These events invite us to consider how much the supernatural might surround us, shaping our understanding of the divine. These accounts, as incredible as they may seem, are far from isolated. Celestial apparitions like those in Fatima and inexplicable phenomena such as statues shedding tears of blood continue to defy logic. Imagine watching an immobile sculpture come to life as it sheds an unexplainable liquid. Would it be easy to dismiss, or might it signify something greater? It is in this liminal space between faith and doubt that esotericism finds fertile ground, raising questions that few answers can satisfy. Each story pushes us to explore not only the supernatural but also our own relationship with the unknown. Sister Maria's letter, for instance, raises questions about pacts and rituals that blur the line between the divine and the demonic. What if the encoded words were instructions for something greater, something beyond our comprehension? In modern times, scientific investigations attempt to decipher such enigmas, but doubt lingers. Are these signs from entities trying to communicate something, or merely constructs of the human mind? In the end, the boundary between belief and science remains an unstable but fascinating terrain to explore. The supernatural also manifests in individual experiences. Accounts of spirit invocation or apparitions during occult rituals are more common than one might imagine. Why do some people claim to feel presences at specific moments? One intriguing theory is that certain religious objects may serve as portals to other dimensions. Perhaps you've held a sacred object and felt something beyond the physical. This is no mere coincidence, it's a window into dimensions we have barely begun to comprehend. Many cults throughout history have dedicated themselves to trying to decipher such messages. Gnosticism, for example, seeks to understand the hidden truths often concealed within symbols and sacred texts. These movements often aim to align human knowledge with the divine. Sister Maria's case is an example of this. The enigmatic text can be seen as an attempt to communicate with higher forces, something that continues to echo in modern spiritual practices. On closer analysis, the case reveals something profound about the relationship between the human and the supernatural. It's not just about the written message but the impact it has. Anyone who has ever felt a shiver hearing stories like these knows it's not simply about believing or not, it's about opening oneself to the possibility. After all, what do we lose by accepting that the world is more complex and fascinating than it seems? This type of mystery endures over time because it touches on something quintessentially human, the search for answers. Whether it's an ancient ritual, an invocation, or even the reading of sacred texts, humanity has an insatiable thirst to understand the unknown. Stories like Sister Maria's remind us that as long as there are questions, there will be a universe of possibilities waiting to be discovered. And when the next mystery arises, will we be ready to face it? The 17th century was a time marked by intense fear of the occult. Europe was engulfed in a whirlwind of superstitions, and every inexplicable event was quickly associated with demonic pacts or supernatural interventions. Imagine living in a period where the slightest misstep could lead to accusations of witchcraft. The case of Sister Maria emerged in this tense atmosphere, where any unusual manifestation was met with suspicion. The mysterious symbols in the letter she wrote only fueled the paranoia of the time, making her a living example of the impact esotericism had on the collective mindset. The nun's letter also illustrates how fear shaped perceptions of supernatural phenomena. At that time, demonic entities were often believed to be behind extraordinary occurrences. The Catholic Church, as the ultimate authority, saw such cases as opportunities to reaffirm its hegemony, framing these events as malicious interventions. Religious ritualism was employed both to perform exorcisms and to reinforce spiritual control over the masses. Even today, this period resonates in practices that continue to emphasize combating the invisible evil. Another significant factor was the lack of scientific understanding. Many supernatural explanations were, in fact, misunderstandings of the natural world's workings. Diseases, eclipses, and even human behaviors were attributed to pacts or influences of malevolent entities. Sister Maria's letter, with its indecipherable symbols, seemed to bolster this narrative. People believed that certain rituals could be responsible for bringing such phenomena to light, and in this context, specialists were more feared than admired. Fear also fed stories of summoning rituals gone wrong. Any attempt to contact the supernatural was seen as a dangerous game, reinforcing the belief that pacts with demons posed a real threat. Imagine a world where every shadow in the night could be a lurking malevolent entity, and secret rituals were viewed as gateways to another realm. This historical context is crucial for understanding the importance of Sister Maria's account, which fits perfectly into this atmosphere of widespread terror. To emphasize the gravity of the situation, it is worth noting that even scholars of the time feared deciphering the letter's symbols. Esotericism was viewed as a risky field, and few dared to delve into it without the Church's backing. This hesitation perpetuated the mystery surrounding such events, making any attempt at explanation appear as an affront to the divine. Sister Maria's case is a clear example of how fear of the unknown can influence even the most rational minds. It is also important to note that the Church itself, while combating occultism, engaged in rituals that bordered on the supernatural. Exorcisms, for instance, were officially sanctioned practices that often carried a theatrical element, reinforcing the idea of a battle between good and evil. The 17th century was a melting pot where Gnosticism, the supernatural, and collective fear mingled, creating fertile ground for stories like that of the nun from 1676. Looking back, we realize that the attitudes of that time are not so different from today's. Although we now have scientific tools to explore the unknown, the fascination with rituals, pacts, and summoning persists. Fear has changed shape but has not disappeared. We still seek to understand the inexplicable, connecting us directly to the feelings of those who lived in the 17th century. Sister Maria's letter serves as a reminder that esotericism and occultism will always play a central role in how we confront the supernatural. Scientific advancements have provided new lenses through which to view supernatural phenomena. In 2018, researchers partially deciphered Sister Maria's letter, uncovering phrases suggesting that religions were human creations and referencing ancient mythologies. This discovery shook many beliefs, raising questions about the human mind and its ability to create narratives. Imagine the impact of reading something that simultaneously denies and reaffirms the divine. Was this a message from entities or a psychological manifestation of the nun? This dilemma continues to challenge both scientists and spiritualists. Deciphering Sister Maria's letter was like opening the door to deeper debates about the human mind and the supernatural. Studies suggest that she may have suffered from a psychological condition that led her to write the mysterious symbols. However, this does not diminish the impact of the message. Instead, it raises questions about the connection between the human unconscious and what we call entities. How often do our deepest thoughts feel as though they come from a place beyond ourselves? Science attempts to explain, but esotericism views such moments as signs of something greater. The scientific interpretation of the letter also pushes us to explore the relationship between religion and mythology. Ancient texts often share similarities that point to a common origin in human beliefs. The letter references myths linked to Gnosticism, suggesting a convergence between different spiritual traditions. Consider how invocation rituals, even in distant cultures, share symbolic elements. This raises the question, are entities universal representations of the collective unconscious, or are they something beyond the human mind? This duality fuels both academic and spiritual exploration. Modern science has brought powerful tools, but there is still a long way to go in understanding phenomena like Sister Maria's. Decoding techniques and neurological analyses have revealed parts of the letter's content but failed to explain why it was written. Could it be possible that rituals or occult practices trigger mental states that open doors to alternative dimensions? It's an unsettling yet fascinating thought. Studies of deep meditation and spiritual trances show that such states can alter perceptions of reality, a possibility that bridges science and esotericism. While many dismiss such phenomena as products of a disturbed mind, it is undeniable that they have a significant impact on those involved. Supernatural experiences, such as invocations and encounters with entities, are often described as transformative. Sister Maria's letter may have been the result of an altered state of consciousness, but the words written there echo a wisdom that transcends her time. Perhaps this explains why we remain drawn to stories of rituals and pacts that promise to connect the human to the divine. Another intriguing aspect is the symbolic power of the language used in the letter. Symbols possess a force that goes beyond words, acting as triggers for the unconscious mind. Jung, for instance, argued that universal archetypes are manifestations of the collective unconscious. When examining Sister Maria's letter, it is impossible to ignore how its symbols evoke profound imagery that resonates with our own experiences of mystery and spirituality. These signs can be interpreted as messages from entities or as reflections of human complexity. Sister Maria's case continues to challenge the boundaries between science, psychology, and spirituality. It invites us to explore questions that go beyond the visible. What is the limit between the mind and the supernatural? If you have ever experienced something unexplainable, you know how it can transform your worldview. This is precisely why these mysteries endure, fueling both imagination and academic study. Ultimately, we may never fully uncover the truth, but what we learn along the way is what truly matters. Even with all the technology available today, stories of spiritual phenomena continue to emerge, challenging skepticism. A recent example involves statues of Mary that reportedly weep sacred oil. These events attract thousands of devotees but also raise questions. What causes these statues to display such phenomena? Are they genuine miracles, human manipulations, or manifestations of unknown forces? While scientists attempt to provide explanations, esotericism views these occurrences as clear signs of entities seeking to engage humanity in spiritual dialogue. These manifestations are not limited to religious contexts. In modern occult rituals, accounts of successful, or failed, invocations continue to surface. Imagine participating in a ceremony where something unexpected happens, a strange light, an unexplainable sound, or a sense of presence. These experiences leave profound impressions, reinforcing belief in the supernatural. For practitioners, they are not coincidences but evidence that the spiritual world is closer than we think. Technology also plays a role in these cases. Footage of spiritual phenomena quickly goes viral, amplifying debates between skeptics and believers. Some videos show shadowy figures or objects moving on their own during invocation rituals. These images serve as a reminder that, even in a world saturated with rational explanations, the unexplainable still holds a place. Perhaps it is this mix of doubt and fascination that keeps the pursuit of the supernatural alive. Beyond religious phenomena, contemporary occultism also presents intriguing accounts. Practices like necromancy and the invocation of specific entities have gained popularity, especially in esoteric circles. Some report encounters with beings that offered profound knowledge or warnings. Imagine a ritual where you feel a dense energy in the air, hear whispers that seem to come from another dimension. For many, these events are more than mere imagination, they represent real interactions with the supernatural. These experiences become personal milestones, defying any attempt at rational explanation. The phenomenon of supernatural messages is also reflected in events such as unexplained possessions and exorcisms. Accounts of voices changing, unknown languages being spoken, or drastic behavioral shifts continue to intrigue both religious leaders and scientists. A famous case is that of Anneliese Michel, whose story still sparks debates between faith and science. The boundary between the psychological and the spiritual seems to blur in such moments, leaving us face to face with a reality that cannot be ignored. These manifestations remain a bridge between ancient mysteries and modern curiosities. Some believe these occurrences are direct messages from entities. Others see them as mere echoes of a collective unconscious shared by humanity. Regardless of their origin, it is undeniable that these phenomena have a powerful impact on those who witness them. They reignite interest in cults and rituals that promise to reveal secrets about the spiritual world. As with the case of Sister Maria, the unexplainable always finds a way to remind us of our connection to the unknown. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of modern mysteries is how they continue to unite people in the search for answers. Whether in online forums, spiritual gatherings, or scientific debates, the interest in the supernatural has not waned. If anything is certain, it is that these stories, from ancient pacts to today's inexplicable tears, challenge us to think beyond the obvious. In doing so, they connect us not only to something greater but also to one another. After all, mystery is a universal language, speaking directly to the human soul. Philosophy invites us to look beyond the phenomenon itself and reflect on its impact on our perception of reality. When faced with events like Sister Maria's case or statues that weep, we are compelled to ask, what is real? For some, the supernatural is an extension of reality. For others, it is a way to confront the unknown. These mysteries challenge our worldview, offering us the chance to expand our perspectives. Perhaps the greatest value of these experiences lies in their ability to make us question what we consider possible. Esotericism and Gnosticism often present answers to these questions, suggesting that hidden knowledge is the key to understanding the universe. Imagine a ritual where the symbols used represent profound concepts about existence and the divine. These belief systems teach us that, to comprehend the supernatural, we must first explore our inner selves. It is an invitation to seek answers within before looking outward. Philosophically, these practices remind us that the unknown exists not only in other worlds but also within our own minds. It is also worth considering how these phenomena bring us closer to a sense of humility. In a world dominated by technology and scientific progress, we are constantly reminded that there are still things beyond our understanding. Accepting mystery can be liberating. It is as though the universe is telling us, there is still more to learn, more to discover. Perhaps the true value of pacts and rituals lies in their ability to reconnect us with our humanity, with our innate desire to explore the unknown. The concept of entities as spiritual guides or challengers also leads us to reflect on our role in the universe. Many believe these beings are here to test our courage and faith. If you have ever felt called to explore the occult or the supernatural, you know how transformative this journey can be. Every ritual, every invocation, is an opportunity to grow, to challenge oneself, and ultimately, to better understand oneself. This is what makes esotericism so fascinating. It is both an external pursuit and an internal journey. However, we cannot ignore the dangers of this search. Pacts and invocations are not games, they require preparation, respect, and a deep understanding of their implications. Philosophy teaches us that, before engaging with the unknown, we must prepare ourselves mentally and spiritually. Books such as The Spirit's Book by Allan Kardec or The Sacred Magic of Abramelin offer valuable guidance for those who wish to explore these paths responsibly. These readings serve as a safe starting point for understanding the spiritual world without losing oneself in it. The emotional impact of these experiences should also not be underestimated. In exploring the occult, many discover not only the supernatural but also hidden parts of themselves. The philosophy of self-knowledge intertwines with the supernatural, showing that these journeys are as much about the universe as they are about the human soul. Rituals and spiritual practices often act as catalysts for profound changes in our lives, challenging us to be braver, more open, and more self-aware. In the end, the supernatural serves as a mirror that reflects our own questions and answers. It reminds us that mystery is part of life, and perhaps that is what makes it so fascinating. Every pact, every invocation, every encrypted message is a reminder that the quest for knowledge is infinite. After all, who are we if not explorers of a universe full of possibilities? Now that you've immersed yourself in this fascinating journey through the supernatural, what are you waiting for to explore further? What mysteries are waiting for you within the pages of an ancient book, in a ritual, or in the simple contemplation of the unexplainable? If you feel something within you has awakened, perhaps it's time to take action. Write the keyword mystery in the comments to manifest more answers in your life and activate notifications to continue exploring the unknown. After all, what could be more rewarding than uncovering the secrets of the universe?